Okay. I'm going live on YouTube, so give me a second. One more. There we go. Okay, so we are live on YouTube, just so you know. I'm hearing myself. Okay, maybe. Okay, so relationships and families and in-laws, how do they affect it? Before anything else, can we try and define what in-laws, or let's say the extended family, let me make it like that. What is an extended family? How is it supposed to how are we supposed, or how is it supposed to sit in our relationship? What is an extended family? What do we all understand by an extended family? Like I always say, please help me out here. I'm not an expert. I'm just here just to bring people together. I'm just moderating the show. So don't rely on me for so much information. So please join in. We're all here to learn and share. If you want to speak, just pop your hand up and I'm going to call you, and then you put your submission across. Okay, AJ, I got your message. Okay, cool. Yeah, so so what is an extended family? What do we understand? I don't know if you've done any researches. I saw some amazing facts and I was learning actually. So what do we actually understand by an extended family? What is the extended family? Please help me out. So what do we actually understand by an extended family? What is the definition, or how is it supposed to sit in our relationship or fit in?
Well, I'm sorry, I don't have, it's Antonia at all. I don't have, I don't have my glasses on, so bear with me.
Oh, bless you.
Extended family is, oh God, you know, just those that are not, people that are not within your direct families.
Yeah.
Direct families are what you call mother, father, and children. Okay. But then anybody outside that circle are extended. So there could be grandparents, uncles, sisters, nephews, brothers, you know, and other external family. So that's my understanding of external family.
So thank you very much, Antonia. So if this is the definition of an extended family, how does it impact on the relationship or in the relationship? I'm definitely sure there are positive and negatives, or advantages and disadvantages. What would be some of the advantages from the top of our heads? Let's not Google. Let's just be realistic. In our day-to-day lives, we all have extended family. I always say we are all extended families to some people. So in as much as I have an extended family, or I have in-laws, I'm sure I'm someone else's in-law. I have brothers and sisters who are married as well. So I do have in-laws. So I'm playing the part of an in-law to someone, and I'm expecting someone to play the same part. So I can use myself always as an example, because I have both, I live in both situations. So what do we actually expect from an extended family? So if you have an extended family, talk about your own extended, and if you're married or in a relationship, the other partner's family as well. How does it affect our relationship?
Okay.
Hello, who is speaking? Hello, I can hear someone fidgeting. Are you trying to speak, or can someone open the floor? You want me to keep going?
No, we'll just explain. Maybe I think the person is trying to log on network. So
yeah.
What
do we? So in general, I do want you to go ahead and talk. Yeah.
Broad, because it depends. Yeah. Okay. If it's your let's talk about, like you're talking about marriage. Let's talk about marriage. So if it's concerning the in-laws, okay, in-laws are a lot. Got your mother-in-law, father-in-law, sister-in-law, brother-in-laws, nephews-in-laws, uncles. If it's an African traditional, okay. So if you're talking about Africa, that's why I say it depends. If you're talking about African tradition, what do we expect from those extended families of in-laws? I'm going to, maybe somebody else talk about brothers and sisters. I'm going to talk about in-laws. In-laws, you can always expect them to support their own immediate family, which is if it's the in-law, if you are the wife, for example, and your husband's family are the in-laws, I believe they'll always be loyal first to your husband. Okay, they will always love because it's their blood, it's their brother, it's their son, it's their uncle, it's their everything. But because of the love they have for the husband, they will then, that love flows to the wife and the children, and the grandchildren. So because of the love and at times it could change. So far that some in-laws could even love the wives more than their own brothers or their own uncle. So it all depends. It's a very complicated matter.
Very.
So, yeah, so that's what I can say about in-laws. I don't want to go, others may want to say something. So to me, I feel it's a love that could flow directly towards the other partner, either positively, by them loving and accepting the man or the woman as part of their own. It could be negative, but some people will love you within that external in-laws and some will not. It could even be totally negative. None of them would even like the in-law. So, or so it is a very complicated matter. I will just leave it there.
Very complicated. I like that. Yeah, it was quite tricky when we're coming up with a topic and we're wondering what people might be thinking or will be saying. Thank you very much for your submission. Who else has got something to add to it? I've got a few points I've jotted down, but I want people to join in and feel involved as well. Who else would like to add to it for me, please, or for us? Oh, okay. So, in-law. So I always like using examples. So I use the word relationship a lot more than marriage because it's not everyone who wants to get married. And there are people who are in long-term relationships that would lead to marriage, but they are not there yet, and they have children, cohabitations and all that. So I believe they all have, well, extended families. To them, it would be extended. It wouldn't be in-law because they're not actually married yet. So the point I found very interesting is what in-laws or what extended families actually meant to be like it. Now, surprisingly, the extended family is meant to help us economically. It's meant to help us financially. I was very surprised when I was reading it. So when we talk about the extended family or the in-laws and all that, I think traditionally, it's the situation where we all live together under one roof or in one big building where we help each other, we look out for each other. There comes so many advantages that comes with that and so many disadvantages. So that's how it's actually meant to be. Most of the Asians, those of you who have Asian friends, if you realize that's how they live, they always live together. I know a couple of Asians who used to live next door and they were patronizing the owner of the house, my friend. They were paying him off, so he would sell his house to them so they can buy. They literally want to buy all the houses on the streets, and they've managed to break in. So they don't need to step out. They just walk in. It's like one big house. They put like 5 houses down the road, and they just live in. So that's how it's supposed to be, to help each other economically and financially, emotionally, to be there for each other. But unfortunately, when we come to, I am an African, I can talk as an African, I don't see that. Our extended family don't live in. We live out, but we're still connected some way by blood, by love. But then are we actually practicing the economic living, the financial support? Are they adding to the relationship in any way, or are they taking away from the relationship? So I don't want to say too much, but like I said, reading on Google tells us so many rubbish. But yeah, I picked up a few points like this. So I was surprised, I was amazed actually. That it's actually supposed to be a good thing. it's supposed to be a beautiful thing when you can have your mother-in-law, all of you living together in a big house, helping each other financially, economically, especially those of us who live outside. Childcare, oh my God, it's going to be very economical if you have family living around or close by. So having said all this, I'll stop here. If anyone else has got something to add to it, I think we're just talking about the surface, but there are deeper things we can go into. So if someone else has got something else to say, then from there we can dive deep into some of the advantages of having the in-laws, or and then some of the disadvantages of having in-laws and families in the relationship or around the relationship. When I say around, I mean those who are involved in the relationship. So whoever would like to speak, the floor is yours now. Reverend, I see you. Who else would like to add to it, please? And welcome everyone who just joined in. Billy. Everyone is quiet. Hello, guys. Who would like to add to it, please? Hello, guys.
I don't want to be the only one, but do you want me to add?
Yeah. Go ahead. If you have something to say, just go ahead. Yeah.
In some way in Nigeria, I'm going to make a quick joke. When you go in those days, when you go on the Mulwe bus or the Danfo bus, and the Danfo, the conductor will say, driver, now brick we carry you. In Nigeria, we understand. So when we have a show and nobody talks, we say, nobody's talking. So it happens like that, yeah.
I know. I think everyone wants to listen, but it's nice to talk. So it will be an interaction. So it wouldn't be boring. I can't talk all the time. Thanks, Antonia. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Okay. I'm going to stick with African culture because for now, that's what I know. Somebody else could talk about all that culture. Economically and financially, heavy, right? Yes, the problem with us is sometimes we have extended in-laws living with us. I know, like back in Africa, and even here, we have our brother-in-laws or sister-in-laws come and stay with us. Mostly why we do that is we that are the people that they are living with, we want to help them to help them. We are the ones, I think I may be wrong, but mostly we help those people living with us financially, either to help aid them going to uni, or aid them in getting a job, or aid them in settling them to the country before they get their own. I'm talking of them coming to live here. I don't want to go back to Africa. I'm talking about the UK scenario. So that's why they all come in. And once they get, or if they're going to uni, we're helping them to settle down. When they've gotten those aspects of it, then they move on. Okay, they move on. However, how do they contribute to us when they are living with us? Is they support us with childcare? If it's mother, granddad, and they come in, they stay with us because we want them around. So the emotional support is there, the physical support is there. Sometimes if they have money, usually the grandparents, they could also support us, but not as much as we that we're hosting them in our homes. Because most people see that when they come in to live in your home as an African, they're coming to you to support them mostly financially. We are the ones supporting them.
Exactly, but from what we read, it's supposed to be the other way around. They should be chipping in to make it all easy.
Absolutely. But the Indians, their culture is different. They've all lived in putting money together to support each other, not one by one. Somebody will say, this boy wants to go to uni, but his son is living with me. We all have to, they will all work and contribute, even if it's one pound for that child. So it's not just one person bringing out the money to pay.
I'll not cut you off. I heard as well that in the Jewish community, when you have a new baby, everyone contributes £1. So imagine if there are 1 million Jews in the UK. If everyone, when the child is born, in their bank account, they already have £1 each from each person.
Fantastic. You see?
Can you imagine that?
Yeah. So I think it's all depends on, that's why I say it's broad. It all depends on culture. So you're right about the Jewish people. Oh, they're very inclusive. They're very, I would like the word, about themselves. They guide themselves, they protect themselves, they promote themselves. That is why they are growing. And what we Africans need to do is, yes, we come in to live in other people's. I'm talking about living or speak, because you talked about living in other people. We should all learn to come in and contribute. Yes, we're supporting them that way, but what if you are living in that person's house and you are earning salary? Also come in and say, Uncle, oh, this is the end of the month. I've earned 20 pounds. Take 5 pounds. But what most of us I noticed do is they earn 20 pounds. They don't even bring a penny. They think, oh, I'm living in the house. But don't forget there's bill, there's water, there's light, there's everything. Also contribute financially. Don't just put all the money in your pockets. So don't even buy bread. So don't even buy milk. Oh, it's my auntie's house, it's my uncle's house, so I don't have to pay a penny. No, it's not fair. Especially in the UK. But don't forget, this is UK. What if it's in Africa, in Ghana, in other aspects of Africa? They come in, they stay, even though they are working. It's only some of us come back home with something to support their family. Most of them do. The man, because they feel, oh, the man is so rich or he's got this big business, I don't have to put it. The man pays for everything. And that's why most people die prematurely. That's why they have high blood pressure. That's why they have a lot of stress, because one person is doing everything. We have to learn to support financially, even though we are living with the person. So I'm going to stop at living in, then maybe later I want to talk about living out. So that's what I would say, because somebody else might want to contribute.
Thank you again for your submission. Has anyone else got something to add to Antonius? Has someone else got something to add to Antonius? How do they affect? Okay, let me say it this way. Now, when you're in a relationship, before you get, this is quite funny because I think many of us can say anyone who is in a relationship leading to marriage or in a long-term relationship, deciding not to get married or married, this is for you. So literally when growing up, we all have, our parents all have this kind of dream or this kind of thoughts about certain people and certain tribes and how they behave, and the tribes they want you to marry into from experience, God knows what, and all that. Like, I'll use myself as an example. My dad, and apologies to anyone on here who is an Ewe, my dad just can't stand the thought of an Ewe man around or an Ewe. So these are some of the things that actually affect us. So if you
sorry, can I ask a question?
What
is an error? What's that?
Oh, sorry, Jacqueline. Ewe is a tribe.
Oh, right, okay.
Tribe. Yeah. How do you call it? Yeah, so you understand. Yeah. So they don't we in Africa, in Ghana especially, because I'm Ghanaian, your parents want you to marry into a certain tribe, or you can marry in any tribe minus a certain tribe. Yeah, like I say, I am an in-law to someone. Yeah, I was suspecting probably my brother or sister, I don't want to be specific, is married or is in a long-term relationship with someone. I genuinely am not in support of it, but I have to accept it. Now, anything that this person does, whether she kills herself, whether, give me a second, so my kid is pulling my hair. Sorry, he saw my recording on YouTube. He came to call me to watch myself. Yeah, so no matter what the lady will do, it doesn't please me. Nothing she hasn't offended me. She hasn't done anything to me. Just a mere thought of her walking into the house and out. And when I ask my brother to do something and she doesn't want it that way, my brother listens to her. Or I'll be like, come on, like, I'm your sister, man. You've got to understand I'm your sister. I'm your older sister. You need to listen to me. I said this, you need to do it this way. But it's about time we all know our limits and our boundaries and know when to back off. He's not married to me. He's my brother. His loyalty will always be with me. He will always love me. But when it comes to his wife, that love is completely different. That love is completely different. So we need to know, in as much as you want your in-laws to relate to you in a certain way, we should start practicing relating to those who call us in-laws in a certain way. We have to accept them. We have to love them and accept and respect the decisions that our brothers, our sisters, our cousins, our auntie, whoever has made. We just have to accept them. Even if we feel they're wrong, let them walk their own mile. Let them make their own mistakes. We don't have to correct it for them. We can give them the maybe the heads up at certain times or at certain stages in time, but we don't have to make decisions for them. It's always good for people to make their own mistakes, and accept it's a matter of life and death. Then you can intervene. Apart from that, I think we should just step back. So I'm just talking about we choosing who we love for who we think we love. So I love my brother. I think this girl will be better for him. Why? Because maybe she shares the same likeness as me, or I can control her very well. If I need money for my brother and I tell my brother, you know, this girl, oh gosh, she can say nothing. Or I'll go to her and say, can you tell my brother to do this? And she will run to him to do it. So if I get someone who's married to my brother, who's very headstrong, who controls situations, I wouldn't like her because I don't have access to my brother. Because I want this and he wouldn't give me, or he will go and discuss with her. Even if my brother says no and it's not her fault, I'm like, oh, she told you not to give me the money. Meanwhile, she's not done anything. She's completely innocent. But we don't like her so badly that anything she does doesn't please you. So that's how being an in-law, that's how we can also affect others. So we being an in-law, I always say, let's practice begin from home. So if we want something to be done to us where we are, even if you're not in a relationship, one day you will be in a relationship. So let's try to embrace and accept whoever our blood or our loved one is actually chosen. And that will really make a happy and peaceful, big extended family, hopefully, fingers crossed. So I think I've ended my submission. Who else has got something to add to what I just said? So I've said it in the situation where I am the in-law, but then someone can talk about the situation where you have an in-law. So what do you expect from them? Do you expect them to love you regardless of who you are, or what you do, or what?
Please, can I come in?
Yes, you can, darling.
Okay, thank you. In fact, when you were talking, you did mention Jewish that contribute some pound into accounts when a newborn, they have a new addition to a family. I also know that back in Ghana, there are tribes like that, not necessarily contributing when a baby is born, but like the people from Bronga Hafu, families do come together, or individuals come together and contribute money and send one person outside. And then there are laid down rules that when you go, you come and pick Akwesi Boache's son. And Akwesi Boache's son is supposed to pick Amavide's son. And Amavide's son is supposed to, you know, that kind of lay down principles. So you can imagine if you come from a different kind of background and you marry somebody from BA who has been told to bring that person, and it's a lay down something and you're not used to it. I think this can affect your relationship if
big time.
Yes, big time. So
big time.
Yes, so sometimes we also have to learn the backgrounds of people and what their lives have become at the point we are getting to know them and understand some of the things they do. In doing so, then we can understand them better. Because trust me, if you come from a different background and you don't understand that maybe a gentleman you found has been told to come and pick Akwesi Boatia. In fact, recently I was, then you start asking questions. Must all this money goes to this or that? But my dear, you came to meet him in the journey and there is a program lined up. So sometimes we need to be careful. Recently, I was having a conversation with somebody, and in fact, she gave me, she sent me or played the video like an audio and sent it to me. It was an auntie now telling her how they need to come and help one of their sisters, because if they don't do that, things are going to get out of hand in Ghana. And this person is in England. So she was now giving me a background of how when the husband came for her, it was mandatory for her to bring her brother, and her brother bringing another brother bringing somebody. So trust me, if you get into this kind of circle where you come from a background where probably your family, you were well to do, you know, things happen in your own circle, nobody is bringing anybody anywhere, and then you find a man like this and he's using all the money to focus on this, you have a problem with it. So I
It
think,
doesn't even make sense.
yes, to you it doesn't make sense, but from where they come from, it makes a
To
lot
the
of sense.
family, it makes sense.
You know, to him,
To the
even
person
the
they are going to bring abroad,
person,
and what's the example is in
no,
Kwame
no, no,
Boache. Kwame
no,
Boache
no.
will make sense.
No, what I'm saying is that the gentleman, if it's a gentleman
Mm-hmm.
who is bringing somebody and you are the girlfriend of that gentleman understands that this is how they do it from where he's coming from.
And these
You
are some of the things you need to discuss before
exactly,
you go
this is
into
the point
relationship.
we
Some
are
are
talking about,
indebted to
how this,
families, you know.
yes, that's what I'm saying. So this is how you have to adapt to some cultures. You understand? I have somebody whose grandmother despises like the tribe Queen Lodi talks about the Elwes. She says that there are battles that you have to fight. You see a mentality with the background of these people.
Mm-hmm.
But then I also find it a bit strange for you to have this kind of mindset about a whole tribe of people and putting them in a certain category. I think that is also wrong. But this is how the person sees it, and this is how she will brainwash all the people that comes from her generation.
Mm-hmm.
So you can imagine the effect that will have if they meet people from this background. The same thing when you flip it over to England, you can see that maybe people with different cultures also do not understand why even a relative should even come from somewhere to come and live with you in your home. You understand? So it's all about backgrounds. And I think we are talking about these extended families and how they affect some of the relations. These are negatives, but there's also positive side where Akwesi Boachi brings Efia Mansa, but maybe Efia Mansa comes to also help you with childcare. I had somebody making that example. So I think there are advantages and disadvantages. And what I would say is that before we get into any relationship with anybody, we should really, really try hard to understand where they are in their journey. One, whether we can join them in that journey and whether we are willing to adapt to what kind of situation they are in. If we cannot, I think then we should back
I
out.
think it's both
Sometimes,
ways, right?
yes, of course. That's what I mean. So Akwesi Boachi should be ready to say that, okay, if Yamansa is coming from a region where they don't help it, is he ready to live this? No, he's not. If Yamansa, are you ready to live with it? No, I am not. And then you all find your way. But sometimes we jump ahead of the hurdle and then we fall in love and then we start having issues and then reality sets in, and that is where we have problems. Thank you.
That's a very beautiful submission. Thank you very much, Billy. Thank you so much. So, right? So when you're going to marriage or you're going into a relationship, you need to find out exactly where you're going or towards. And she's made so much beautiful submissions, and I think we can all relate. We can all relate. Some people, I made a comment in between our categories, some people are indebted to families. Some people are indebted to families. So when you go in, there are people, maybe you get into a relationship where you are with a woman who is the man of the house where she's coming from. Maybe daddy's no more there, mommy's no more there. So she's standing and she's taking care of her little siblings, and they are in-laws. They will always come first because she has become a mother to them. You know, they'll always be like her first kids. All these people you're going to meet along the way, you can't avoid. So when you're going into a relationship, always find out the kind of relationship you are going into and what kind of relationship that the partner has got with their family, what kind of ties, what kind of bond they have. Some bonds are unbreakable. And if you get into such a place, knowing, then you have nothing much to say. But if you are unaware and you walk into the unknown, and one can, then I don't know how that will end. But thank you very much for your submission. I'll tell you a joke someone told me today. I was having a chat with the maid, and we're talking about the topic before ahead of time, and he made well, not funny, but there was a bride and a groom getting married, and on their wedding day, they found out that the mother of the bride and the father of the groom are having an affair. So they also want to get married. So now the lady is telling her mom to step down, and then the guy is telling dad, step down, don't get married. And the two parents want to get married, and they can't marry and have the same parent. So the two decided to divorce. So they got married eventually, but it didn't work out because their parents also decided to get married. So these are some of the stories. It was quite fun. I don't want to laugh too much because I'm recording this on YouTube. So yeah, so these are some of the things we find ourselves into, and it's all bounces back to us later in the near future. When you make such decisions, you have to be ready to face the consequences. You know, you decide to lay a bed, you lie right in there. Don't complain, and you've got nothing to say. You can't complain if it gets bad. Some go from bad to worse. Sometimes you get into a situation, it's not as bad. Like she said, maybe you the partner you have met is only supposed to bring Akwesi. Now, before he's bringing Akwesi, now Akwesi too has gone to impregnate someone and it's got 2 kids with someone else. So now Akwesi's application, or now Akwesi has to bring 2 kids with him to whatever country you are in. So then it becomes a bit lengthier, or it never stops. So and there are some traditions. Someone took care of you, you have to take care of this person. And so it goes on and on and on. And then in Ghana as well, I know there is a tribe where I think that Shanties, I think it's been abolished, I'm not too sure, where if you marry, your children don't inherit your hard work or anything you've earned or any of your properties. Instead, it's your I think your nieces and nephews who inherit what you leave behind. So this is quite very intense. Like, you come a long way with your partner, you build a family, and then later nieces and nephews come in to inherit. So if we weigh all these, we've got a lot to discuss when it comes to extended family. We're talking a lot about the negatives. We'll talk about some positives, but for now, let's keep going. Someone might come up with something positive, but I think the negative mostly outweighs the positive because they have so much influences. Again, when we get married, and there are kids, you are not having to apologize to anyone who is apologies to anyone if they might feel a bit emotional about this, but there are people who are married and they are not having kids, are not coming, or they're not having they're not getting pregnant, or they're not having kids, and they're having these pressures coming from the in-laws. You know, sometimes it's not even the in-laws, your own family will be giving you that pressure. So mentally, it doesn't even make you sane. You're so stressed, and if that even happens, you might never even get pregnant because your whole body is being regulated by hormones, and you feel so stressed. How can you get pregnant? So these are some of the things. Like I said, even though we're talking about in-laws, we are also in-laws to other people. So whilst we're talking, we are also learning from it. So assuming you are online today and you have a brother or a sister who is in a relationship, long-term or whatever, and they're struggling to have kids, or kids are becoming a problem, can you just leave them alone and leave them in peace? Kids are blessings, you know. So if the person is not there yet, there are other ways they have been blessed, or they will be blessed. You may never know what might come through for them. So yeah, this is my submission. So if anyone has got something more to add to it, welcome Femi. If anyone has got anything to add to it, you're welcome to do so.
Hello, Lodi.
Hello, darling.
Yes, please. Just to add to what you said, the tradition you talk about is not abolished. It's still run for most Akan tribes.
If
But
you're marrying an
what,
Akan, or
yes, but what has helped these days is that because people are getting the legal marriages now, the law, overrides some of these things. But even at that, some of the extended families do fight when there is a death without a will. You understand? But then the law would also come in and help with some of the civil laws. But they are still really, really endemic in the Ghanaian culture. Yeah.
wow, this is also a good advice to all to make wills. So we need to write our wills. You think you have nothing, but wait till you die. You'll be surprised how people might even be fighting over your television. So let's try and put something in place so that our loved ones will not feel hurt over us when we're gone. And thank you, Billy. That's a wake-up call. So yeah, who else has got something to add to it, please? We've got a lot we can talk about, a lot. I've used myself as an example. We've got a lot to talk about. I've got Judith, Jemima, welcome. Gina, Reverend Gilbert Amate. We've got some lovely people on here today. New faces, Dolores. Can we all add to it? TJ, all the Samsungs, Ruby. Who else has got something to add to it? I don't want to bore you with my long talks, please. Who would like to add to it, please? You can give examples. It doesn't have to be you. I'm sure you've witnessed a lot. We're all learning. I'm sure you're learning one or two as we're going along. So, Olivia. Hello, anyone wants to talk? I've run out of ideas. Who else would like to add to it, please? Okay, so let's talk about some positives when it comes to the in-laws. Yeah. Someone made a comment, I think Antonia or Billy, one of the two, who said there are some in-laws that you would end up, or they might end up loving you more than their own. Yeah. And I know a couple of relationships like that, where the in-laws have to go. So let's say if you are the daughter, the in-law, the mother-in-law will come through to their daughter-in-law to get through to their son. So there are beautiful sides of it. There is not always the bad side of it. So like I said, we are all in-laws to people. So we can practice that.
Yes,
Olivia.
you just said that is a perfect example of an in-law I've got.
Yeah.
So the first time I met her, when she came to our house, for her to cook, she asked me if I can give her permission to cook in my kitchen. And the kitchen she was on about, it was my partner who was paying everything. I'll say it was more of his house, and I came to join him. But she asked me permission, and she already knew that anyway. But she asked me permission if she could cook in the kitchen, which was absolutely fine. And I've had 3 kids. All my kids, she was the one that came to, like, well, let's say, bath them even before my mom comes later on. She's the one that is always ready to do the childcare even before my mom will. And yeah, as anything she will discuss with the son to do with even like herself or the family, she comes through me to ask, what do I think, or if I can assist her for the son to understand. So honestly, I've had a very, very positive things about both in-laws. So I have no idea with the negatives.
So you are blessed. You are blessed. That's
I am.
Yeah. That's a very nice one. That's a very nice one to say. I can say the same about mine as well. Not blowing my trumpet, but yeah. I remember when I was pregnant with my little one, and my mother-in-law came in to help. I was in Ghana then when she came in to help, and she didn't even want me to lift a finger. She didn't want me to cook. She wants to do everything. She even had to tell my husband what to do for me. She just wants me to relax. And yeah, there are beautiful sides of it. And my own mom, I wouldn't get that kind of pampering from her. My mom is a very strict type. She was a soldier, so she's so strict. And I was like, oh wow, I've never been pampered this much before. So yeah, there are very beautiful sides of these mother-in-laws. Talk about my father-in-law. The first time I met him, he was so nice. He just wanted me to be me. He was so open-minded, and I felt so like I fitted in so well. He didn't expect much from me. He just wanted me to be real, just to be me. He just loved me the way I am. So yeah, we do get lucky sometimes, but not many can say that. Not many can say that. So yeah, Olivia, I can yeah. I can feel your excitement. Yeah. Bless you.
Hello. Please, can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead, my dear.
Okay, so I think, yeah, there are positive relationships out there, and sometimes we shouldn't also think it can't be done. I remember somebody telling me something about how the husband's sister gave her her only child then to live with them outside of Ghana. And this girl lived with her, grew up, came back to Ghana, and became a mom on her own, and had her own shop and things, and had a baby, and even named her after this woman, you know. And the husband became jealous and kept, when they have meetings, family meetings, he keeps saying that, oh, yes, we are all here, but we have one of our own who gossips to my wife, and you know, in a joking way. But then they saw that, yes, because of the bond between this girl and the wife, which is a good one, you know what I mean? And it really brought a stronger relationship between this woman and the man's family. In fact, my own younger sister, the one that is just directly next to me, has a strange relationship with the mother-in-law. And sometimes even my mom and us, we wonder. One day I was in Ghana recently, and she was saying how the mother-in-law came and said, can I go to the market for you? And we're like, seriously? She actually did that. And there's a woman on her own, and we're like, are you serious? But why? Because this woman has 3 boys, and for her, all her in-laws are like jewels to her and like daughters to her. And sometimes when we have family gatherings, the way she would take control and want to do things for everybody, we wonder. And it's not like just anybody, you know what I mean? So sometimes we shouldn't be paranoid. In another setting, if this woman is going all out, somebody will say, you will have one pastor coming to give you some fake news, how she's just trying, you know what I mean? So sometimes we should also be open-minded and allow some of these things to flow and enjoy them whilst they come along. That's my point.
Quite a point. When you said that, having said that, there was not a friend, but this time is the in-law, that's the mother, who was the mother of the man who was having that conversation with me, and she was speaking in Twi. I'll say it in English. She said, oh, my daughter-in-law, I've done everything. She doesn't love me. I even cook for her. She says, why am I cooking for my son? Am I the one married to the son? He's my husband. I know what to cook for him. And then she'll be like, oh, I went to town and bought these for your kids. Oh, do you know what I like for my kids? You know, and this woman is not like an easy nut to break. And I'm surprised because of the love she has for her son. She was trying everything. I wasn't there. I don't want to judge any one of them. From what she's telling me, from where I stand, that's what I'm talking about. So, and she said the bit that I wasn't too sure of is she said, when they are out, the girl is usually not the tidiest of all. So she goes into their bedroom and she lays their bed, tidies up the bedroom, washes the bathroom and everything. And that was when that day the daughter-in-law flipped. And that was it. Said like she should leave the house ASAP, to go into their bedroom and to lay their bed and everything. Like, that's it. She should just leave their house. And someone is out there wishing they have this relationship with their in-laws, but someone is having it all and they're throwing it right out of the window. So life is not kind of fair, is it? Because someone has had it all and they're throwing it out of the window. So yeah, that's my
something.
Yeah.
One, I think that's gone to the extreme, isn't it? Going to their bedroom. Not everybody will. Hello? Oh, can you hear me?
Hear you. Yes, we can.
Apologies. I thought okay. I said to me, the lady, the mother-in-law is a fantastic woman for wanting to, but at times we should all have our boundaries, isn't it? So not everybody wants people going into their bedrooms. Okay, to them, they see it as their privacy. Things like that. I know she meant well, but she should have asked. She's asked for other things. Why did she just go into the bedroom? Some people don't want people in their bedrooms. They just want themselves, their family, their husband, and their children. So unfortunately, maybe she didn't ask again before the lady said she should go away. But yeah, some people have it all and they're ungrateful. I agree. But even though we are trying to help, even our in-laws that are nice and good should have their boundaries. They should know when to stop and when to help. Don't give everything or else they'll get disrespected and they will not be valued. But there should be mutual understanding. Like, I don't know who said, Olivia, I believe, said, as mother-in-law, we ask her first, do you want this? How should it be? Are you okay? That is communicating and involving somebody. You know, you don't just go and buy something for the children. I know it's good, but first of all, you ask your in-law, I want to buy this for your child. Is it okay? It's better. I know it's a good thing to want to do it, but it's always good to. But that woman won't be like, what if you want to buy a book for the child and the same book you go and buy is what the mother has already bought? It's always good to ask, you know, because I had a very lovely father-in-law. He's dead now, bless him. Well, when I was married, he was a fantastic. In short, I wish every day when I see his picture, I cry. You know, my ex was not living here; was living abroad, and my God, this man, if he's 45 minutes away and I call him, he will drive. Even if it's midnight, he will be there. I used to study when I came, I went back to study. This man would take me for my exams, take me for my lectures, would bring me back. He would take care of my daughter. When I was ill with my children, when I was pregnant, he would come and take me to the hospital in the mid. And every weekend is at my home. So when I say every weekend is my home, he knows that when he goes to the house, his lunch is there, his lamb roast is there, everything is there. So it's about give and take. Even though these families are giving or helping, you also give them back, love them, respect them, value what they give you. And it was, you know, you will not feel empty, you will feel full. If you see me and my father-in-law, you would think, if not because of the color difference, you think it's my father, you know. So I had such a lovely father-in-law. If we could have that communication, that permission, that respect, that value of what we are getting from the in-laws, then the positive becomes healthy. Like when Olivia or yourself or one other lady was talking, you could hear they were satisfied. You could feel that they were happy because there was mutual understanding. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your submission again. That was quite nice. Thank you. So who else has got something to add to it? Who else would like to add to it? We're all learning. Are we on there? Bola, I can see you. Dolores, Femi, those with the phones, I can't tell who you are. Gina, you've been on for a long while. Jacqueline, would you like to say something at all? You're smiling. I can see you, Jacqueline. Yeah, who would like to add to it? You can talk about your experiences. Who would like to add something to it? Bola, would you like to talk? No? Are you shy? No? Dolores? Who would like to add to Richard? Yeah? Okay, I'm going to use myself as an example again, and that'll be the last, yeah? So, talking about in-laws, I'll talk about myself again. So, not all in-laws are bad. Like my mom and my dad were amazing to my husband, and they've always been. May my dad so rest in peace, but he loved him to the bone. Can you believe my dad will actually sit my husband down and tell him exactly the kind of woman he has married? Those who know me know who I am. So your dad actually sitting your husband down and telling him, listen, this is how she is. She can do this. Don't allow her to do this. She's just like her mom. If you allow her to do this, she'll do that. Don't do this, don't do that. You know, they had a beautiful relationship. And I remember when my dad passed, my husband made a comment, which was very, you know, I always remember it. I would not say it on here, but it was very emotional, and you could see he's lost a father. So yeah, there are some who are very loved. I come from a very warm home where we welcome people. So my husband is very blessed to have me, yeah, and have my family. So yeah, there are some lovely ones out there, though there can be, I've got some aunties who you wouldn't even like to go close to marry them. We are guys, so you understand what I mean? She would, just by the look of you would just walk out. You wouldn't even like to date her daughter. You understand what I mean? So there are some caricatures out there. So, but the lovely ones, let's embrace it. Let's make the best of them. Yeah, and like I said, we are all in-laws to people, so let's also be nice to others, or our bloodlines who are married to other people out there. So I think I've said enough. If no one has got anything to say, we might like to end it, except someone has got something else to add to it. We've been on for an hour. Sandra, Ruby, we all married, or we're in a relationship, or we know one or two, we can add to it, or yeah, I think we've exhausted all the areas as well. So I'll summarize it all. Again, when I went on YouTube out of what do you call it? Out of curiosity, I found a few things. Again, some of the disadvantages of the extended family or the in-laws is the inability to have your independence. You know, you sometimes you feel like, I'm married, it's just me and my partner. Just leave us alone. Let's do it. I don't need anyone. I don't need anyone to get involved. You need them. You need them. There are situations where it's only family. You cannot, God forbid, there are things that happen. I hope you all know what I'm saying, that you cannot front it alone. You would need them. You would need to phone someone. So you need to have a relationship with them. No independence, yeah. But then again, we don't have to pry too much. We don't need to go in too deep. We should have our boundaries and not interfere too much. Again, it breeds laziness. So when because of financial support, blah, 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 you come from a very well-to-do extended family where you're being supported, or your in-laws are okay, you are very okay. It doesn't give you the edge to want to do something for yourself. You think that is life. If circumstances change and things change, you would like to now blame someone for your downfall, but then you laid well back when things were easy. So we shouldn't learn to be lazy when things are being done for us. We should also try and use that time to do something else. If you're having help with childcare, don't say, okay, then I'm having help with childcare, let me sleep. No, find a course to do, find something to do, upgrade yourself, you know, get yourself busy. Don't take advantage of that and then just relax, you know what I'm saying? And then, yeah, we need to understand personal spaces, no matter what. You love your son, you love your daughter, but there's someone else's responsibility now, and they have the responsibility of someone on them now. So we need to give them a little break so they can also enjoy their marriage or their relationship and write their own story. They cannot rewrite your one for you. People need to write their own story, walk their own miles, make their own mistakes, correct them. You can be there to guide them, but don't make decisions for them. So that's all I've got to say for tonight. I really appreciate you all for joining. It looks like there's not much to say. Hopefully we'll come up with a more fun topic. I was expecting this to be fun, but not really. So yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know
Alright.
whether no, it was fun. Obviously,
Yeah, it
I
was.
joined late, so I don't know. But then I did hear about um people's background about helping each other. So from my side, let's say, okay, so my partner and I were living in, let's say, a 2-bedroom, and then we had a child, and I think about 3 of us siblings came to join us. So I felt it was what's it called? It was an overcrowded place. And it wasn't something that was meant to, but it just happened. And then it was for him, he felt like, okay, he was assisting his siblings so they get their feet on the ground. Yeah, it wasn't an easy journey. I won't lie to you. It wasn't easy, but now, like, they've all moved out, and the benefits for that is that if anything happens, they all contribute. So the burden is not solely on my partner. At least it's got his brothers to contribute. Like, we go on holidays and it's the brothers that pay for it for us, like for me and the kids. Even he doesn't go, it's for his brothers that sponsors us. So yeah, the beginning sometimes it is difficult, but I'm glad I stuck to it a little bit. I couldn't see the lights then, but now looking back, I felt like, okay, yeah, it was a good move he did for them.
That's good. Are you still talking?
No, I'm done. Sorry.
Okay, cool. That's fine. That's a very nice one. So it's like sacrificing, and then now you are enjoying, like, or you enjoyed the aftermath, or you're still enjoying it. I can say, yeah.
Yes, the aftermath is good, but then when you are inside at that point, as I said, it's hard to see the lights. Like, it's, when is it gonna end? When are you gonna go? Is it gonna be like this forever? That sort of thing. So,
and sometimes you be in the situation where, or have you ever felt like having to please them all at the same time?
No, because I'm the sort of person, I'm always myself. So even if I had to tell them off, I will, well, in the nicest possible way I can. But no, I'll tell you how I feel. But if it was that point that, when you're going home, it doesn't feel like you're actually going home because I'm going back to a crowd. So it didn't actually feel like going. I'd rather stay out for as long as possible I can before going into the house. Yeah.
These are some of the things I wanted to hear, like the real hassle of it. Because it's not going to be easy.
Then it wasn't nice, but well, I'm a typical human being. Now that I'm enjoying, yes, I'm saying yeah. So, if you're in that situation, hopefully there is a light at the end of that tunnel. It doesn't last forever.
I think as well, it builds a tolerance level as well. You learn to tolerate because you've living with a friend and living with an in-law. Which one would you actually prefer?
I think maybe a friend, because it's easy for me to, like, I'm done. Like, just go. Yeah. Why would I stay out of my own house when you are comfortable? Yeah, because to that point that, especially if you have, because they were boys and they did nothing, absolutely nothing. Yeah, because they're used to it being done for them. So it wasn't, so that, yet again, that's what I had to learn about that background, because I didn't get why they didn't do anything. But growing up, they had like helpers and stuff, so they weren't used to that. It was more of, I had to kind of teach my partner for him to also tell his, like, pass it on, at least pick up over something. So yeah.
Wow. Superwoman. I'm trying to picture all that. Well done to you. But I'm glad you're enjoying it now. I know a little bit of your enjoyment, so yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you so much for submission. I don't know if someone else has got something to say at this point. If not, call it a night, and hopefully we'll come again the first Friday of March. I'm not sure what date that would be, but I will put the notice out there for us all to join in when we can. So let's have a lovely evening, everyone, and thank you all for those who had lovely submissions to share. And I pray that God instills wisdom in our hearts and in our minds, and to know how to live with others, regardless of them being family or not. In Jesus' name, amen. May all the
Thank
saints say
you.
amen.
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 Thank you. That
Good
was
night. Thank
lovely.
you all for joining. Yeah, I recorded it on YouTube, so I might post it so those